What's up, board game fans? It is now 2023. We've been off for a couple of weeks. Now we're back, and today we're going to be unboxing Here Be Dragons Into the Unknown. And this is kind of a old school, it was published recently, 2021, but this is an old school exploration, hex crawl type adventuring game, indicative of games from the 1970s and 80s, but with a higher production. And being a 1980s kid myself, who kind of got into this hobby based on many games, but especially Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2.0, when I was very small, by my cousins, I have a affinity for and proclivity towards playing games such as these. So let's go to the table and see what is in this box.
Here is the Here Be Dragons Into the Unknown box. And got some nice illustrations of some of the components on the back, as well as a contents list. So let's open this right up. And right away we're hit with the rule book. And we have a quest book as well. Alright, so rule book, we have table of contents, illustrated itemized components list, goal of the game, playing the game, winning the game, setup, on your turn, movement and terrain tiles, the water rule, tech tree, symbols on terrain tiles, event cards, production tiles, settlements, battles and when they happen, searching for monsters, monster battles, things about dice, solo mode, player battles, what happens when you die, oh dear. So lots of text here, lots and lots of text. The Golden Dragon of Greed, the Kraken, monster trait explanation. Bunch of key terms. It's like a glossary. So, and then a glossary on the back. So it's like 26 pages of rules. This is going to take a while to read through in its entirety, but it could be worse. And then we have a quest book with a table of contents, the quest book, and I'm not going to show all of the quest book just in case there are some spoilers here, so I'll just show a few pages, and it's lots of text. But the quest book is a good 30 pages, so there's a lot of content here, hopefully. And then we have player aids. Looks like 3 player aids here on top, and I would say when your player aid is a full 2 pages, there's a lot, but it looks like this is very wordy player aid. So there might not be so bad. Get 3 of those here at least. It's an odd number. And then here we are hit with a bunch of hexes in shrink. Let's see. How do I get into this thing? Here we go. Alright, so then there are 4 punch boards in here. Yeah, and these punch out quite nicely. Have some anchors there. These are plenty thick. Kind of have a glossy sheen to them here. They are small hexes. I have fairly large hands, but these are pretty small hexes. They're probably 1.5 inches. Well, maybe 2 inches, in diameter, 2-inch hexes. So there you go. And got punching out more. So you see different terrain types here. It looks like. And then on here you have more hexes with kind of like a grassland type of thing. You've got some towers here. You've got some villages maybe. some villages in the forest perhaps, and there are some numbers and different icons on there. And then you have this, maybe this is just like the unexplored side of hex tiles perhaps. Here we have a whole bunch of, oh, I'm going to turn it this way, whole bunch of villages with these, different icons in 1 to 2. And then here you clearly have some tiles that were not needed for the printing, but they cut them out. And then, yeah, this has to basically mean the unexplored side. And here we have, I'm going to flip this way, mountainous terrain. And it looks like some sort of ship down here. And again, the unexplored side of the tile. So a whole bunch of tiles there. And then in plastic, we have another punch board, it looks like. Yeah, so we have 3 of 6 different colors of some kind of type of token. And on the other side, we have some sort of icon on one of them, but not the others. So they punch out just fine. Not sure what these do.
I remember my first Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2.0 campaign that I played with my cousins Jeremy and Chris, and Jeff and my brother Matt. And we would go out on adventures. I think I was a fighter. Chris was a rogue and things like this. And, we would go out and we would hunt monsters. We were basically murder hobos. And we would come back to the pub and regale our stories and lick our wounds over a crisp pint of whatever was on tap, trying to, kiss the girl, get the key, steal the vault, loot the city, and ransom the whole thing back to the owners at the end of the day, patting ourselves on the back for a job well done. But eventually, we would have to go back out into the wild, into the world, and hunt the dragon, which we eventually came across. More on that later.
Next, we are hit with tech trees, it looks like. And they are single-sided. These are very hefty, by the way. They are single-sided, but you get 6 of them. And they are double layered. So there are places for putting cubes and things like this. And yeah, it's essentially a technology tree of some type. I mean, you can see it's a tree here, right? But a technology tree or an ability tree. So you have the Blessed Sword here, extra +1 against corrupted enemies. Warhammer +2, you win ties. Iron plating. Any roll of 1 to 3 does not count as a hit on you. I'm not sure what this 10 means here. Scale armor, extra +2 against dragons, and so on and so forth. So it seems like a personal hero ability tree, tech tree of some type. I have never seen, essentially it's a player sheet, right? I've never seen it laid out quite in this way before. This is very interesting to me. I don't know if I like it or not. I haven't played the game yet, but it's cool. I'm intrigued. Okay, let's move on. And then the lower half, you have some iconography like a crown and maybe gold and paper and water and health potentially. I don't know if those were referring to those things specifically, but you have 0 through 10. And again, places to put cubes in here. So these are actually kind of nice. I don't want to just make sure that, yeah. Looks like there are no variable powers here. The variability comes in kind of, I assume, picking which abilities you want to pick. But 6 boards. Again, very hefty stuff. Okay. So now we have silica gel. Do not eat that. And right below the silica gel, we have a bag, which is a little bit small. I'm not big on bags in games, to be honest with you. But this one is, I hate having to reach my big paws into bags. This one is maybe okay. And we have, oh, dice. We have decks of cards, which we'll come back to. But here we have 2, 3, 4, looks like 20 dice in 2 colors. I assume these are all standard 1d6s. But yeah, you get red and brown dice. And yeah, these are all standard 1d6 sided dice. These are pretty nice. Marble finished. And then we have a whole bunch of wooden pieces here, which I'm going to pull out and just check and see if, yeah, there's nothing under this insert storage solution, which is fine. It's made of pretty sturdy plastic, actually.
So we're on the dungeon crawl, we're going from room to room, finding treasure, finding better weapons. My cousin Jeremy, as the DM, is weaving the story, the narrative, immersing us in this world that he had created, a homebrew campaign. Eventually, we come to the final chamber, the big treasure room, where we're going to find the Ring of Antor, or the big bauble of who's he, what's it, blah, blah, blah. My cousin Chris's character opens the door, and we are hit smack in the face with a grand 25-year-old red dragon. And we thought we were going to die. We didn't have this either to help us, because we were 9 and 10, which is a good thing. And Jeremy rolls a critical failure, a 1, and the red dragon uses his breath weapon, blows his own arm off. And the party cheered! And I was sad. I was like, this living, breathing, fire-breathing, admittedly, creature blows its own arm off. And I began to think, what is this creature's experience? What is the metaphor of the creature? Is this creature just a reflection of me?
Okay. So, where to begin? Let's start with this right here. And here we have 6 wooden triangles in 6 colors. So, not sure what they do, but there you go. 6 painted wooden triangles. No complaints. And then we have 6 different kind of characters here. So it's nice that, I don't know if these refer to different classes or just with different abilities, or just different sculpts of different characters. It's nice they're not all the same sculpt. So you have your wizard type dude and your fighter and your ranger, and maybe your barbarian. I don't know, but they're not screen printed. They're just painted, so kind of faceless. But you can be like, oh, this is me. And they're pretty large, actually. These are 16 millimeters, 18 millimeters. And here we have, oh, these are bad guys. I know it's kind of speciesist of me, but look, we have I don't know what that's supposed to be. What is that, Slender Man? But we have some sea serpent type dudes and some octopus arms or kraken arms and things like this. So you kind of have abstract monsters in this game. Which is actually kind of interesting take on things. Abstract creatures. And then here we have... something... Hang on, I just dropped something. I'm just dropping everything. But you can see here a whole bunch of, cities, maybe, and keeps of different types, and I don't know if that's a village, that's a hamlet, or a church, or a cathedral, or something. But you have all these different kind of very clearly, urban, rural centers that you can put on hexes in your different player types, player colors. And here we have I don't know what the other generic monsters, goblins or something like that, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If I did that count right, you can hear my cat running around. 15 of these goblin type dudes, troll type dudes, orc type dudes. I'm just dropping things everywhere. Okay, and then finally, in terms of wooden bits, we have, and we knew these were coming because of the Tech Tree player boards, all of these cubes in the different colors.
What if I'm the dragon?
So let's plug some of these cubes into one of these boards and see how we do. And they fit quite nicely, actually. Look at that. Yeah, no problem at all. And these are large cubes. These are full centimeter cubes. Yeah, that's nice. These colors are kind of interesting. I guess for this type of fantasy game, I would have preferred slightly more muted colors. I say that now. I mean, this is pretty muted, so if we had muted colors, it might be difficult to see. But you kind of have this almost neon yellow and this pink, which is interesting. Like, why did they do pink instead of purple or orange, or I don't know. Maybe that's some of the goofiness of the game. They didn't ask me, but these colors are not the ones I would have chosen. But they're not bad. They're just weird. All right, especially when you look at kind of the muted grays and browns on some of these other things. So let's open up these cards. And I'll note that these are not standard size cards. They are certainly too narrow. So in this tiny little deck of cards here, we have, I'm not sure what all these do, but okay. So on this card we have Kraken Idol effects, and we have a tentacle, and then we have triggered when the Kraken Idol card event is drawn, triggered when the 5th production building has been explored, triggered when the 3rd corruption card is found, triggered when, okay, so these are like trigger effects of some types. And so when certain events happen in the game, you have maybe bad guys invade or something like that. Okay, the Mad Shaman, we saw that token. Okay, yeah, so this thing I said was Slenderman, that's clearly the Mad Shaman, right? And then you have the Kraken, okay. And then you have the Golden Dragon, and then you have the Devourer. Ooh, okay, so it seems like when in this game, when certain things trigger, you have these, bad, nasty boss monsters come out and do nasty things. Okay, so in this deck of cards, we have a symbol on the back of all of them. And you'll notice that we have these numbers here. 1 to 2, 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 1 to 2. So blah, 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 blah. 3 to 4. So I assume those numbers are referring to player counts.
If I am the dragon, and we're adventuring into the unknown to find the dragons, aren't we really just looking for ourselves?
5 plus, and I assume those are just meant to scale difficulty in the game. I haven't looked at the other side of those cards. That's just a guess. But yeah, just because as you have more players, they have more player resources to bring to bear on the game. And so I assume these 5 plus, yeah, so these are all monsters. So let's just, I'm not going to show all of these, but then these are the more powerful ones. We have the Bark Fiend. We have a couple Bark Fiends, Basilisks. Lots of iconography here. Basilisk, Banshee, Screecher, Void Dragon, Cockatrice, And let's look at some of the easier ones, and these are the 1 to 2 ones. Saladon, Screechling, so these should be easier monsters. And you can pause if you want to look at some of this iconography. So it looks like essentially you have a deck of monsters that you customize based on your player count, I'm assuming. And then we have this other deck of cards, which has an E on the back of everything here rather than that M or W. And yeah, so these are kind of events or things that happen. Fireball, freeze, maybe they're spells. Use one usable during blah, blah, blah. One use, usable on your turn when not in battle. Choose a target player, roll a die, and take a coin equal to the number roll from your die, or gain 3. This is a spell. Monster ambush, summon lightning, and then these, come back to those in a second. And again, these cards on the back do not have number ranges for what I can only assume are player counts. But these are spells or some sort of effects or items or something like that. And then these cards, corrupted card. Glowing eyes are watching from the skies. Something is wrong. Or what? Usually it's from the trees, right? Glowing eyes are watching from the skies. Terrifying. Something is wrong. Yes. Something is very wrong if glowing eyes are watching you from the skies. I concur. Effects. Place this card on the Devourer boss card. You lose 1 life. The forest is rotting. Something is wrong. Okay, so the writing in this game is a little lackluster. That's okay. The shadows are moving. Something is wrong. Okay, this reminds me of like Dragon Warrior for the NES or something like that, which is kind of amazing. A dark figure approaches. Something is wrong. Okay. The sky is darkened. Something is wrong. Well, that's not necessarily true. Okay. So you have a couple more corrupted cards. And that is everything we have in this game of Here Be Dragons. Tons of components, tons of stuff and things and little fiddly bits. Not necessarily fiddly within the game, but things to fiddle with. Yeah, that's all we got for you here.
This is not how I expected this review to go. First of 2023. But it fits, right? It fits this unreview/unboxing because 2023 is just an artificial division of time on a Gregorian calendar, and we still have all of the problems of 2022 and 2021 and 2020 and 2019 and 2018 and all the years before that to fix. We're not going to do it today, but maybe, just maybe, we can go out there and find a dragon and learn a little bit about itself and maybe us as well. And collect 10 victory points in the process. So, this has been a little existential and weird, but do check out this game because if you like kind of old school 1980s and aesthetics and hex crawls, this is one I do recommend you check out. So, we'll be back with another unboxing next week.